is all involved with environmental monitoring with our prairie restoration research, the river, the larger monitoring projects we're doing. All kinds of things kind of fit in that, and that's been expanding. So each of our students today that are going to present kind of chose their area as one of their informative research projects to research and then talk about today. So with that, I will probably just hand it over and let the students speak for themselves. They've done some real nice work. So first up will be Shelley Casella.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our research project. As Hank said, we've done a lot of work on these projects here, and we're able to kind of take a little walk with our own individual projects. And with the prairie restoration, we're able to utilize tools to gauge and measure environmental conditions along with that, and how the prairies are restoring themselves with our help under those conditions. Okay, next slide, please. So my topic is species diversity within the restoration of native prairie systems. And Mother Nature built these systems with diversity in mind. There are many, many species out there that connect, that all have little jobs, little systems that help make our native systems abundant and work well. So since the beginning of time, adaptations through evolutionary processes have created bountiful, robust, diverse spaces of our native prairie lands that had once existed. This stunning landscape was once the hub of many diverse communities, accommodating the elegance of native plants and animals who wrote the stories of these now rare gems. Occupants thrived over the cascading sea of native grasses, forbs, and wildlife, and early native dwellers utilized this bounty of gifts to survive and thrive. Native American dwellers were excellent stewards of the land, not taking more than their share. Life was abundant as Mother Nature's toil exquisitely created complexity beyond our imagination. The rise of the Industrial Revolution and invention of the plow in 1838 brought about hardships for the North American prairie systems, decimating a great portion of the ecological diversity that once brought health and resilience to the province and its inhabitants. Fragments of these treasured works of art, bequeathed by Mother Nature to our human species, face many threats, including climate fluctuations and land degradation. These challenges have been instrumental in its declining resiliency. So within the last 8,000 to 10,000 years, these adaptations have taken place, and they're ever changing. Since glaciation happened, these plants have evolved over time into what they currently are today. And in that process, they had to make those changes and adaptations to meet the needs of the whole ecological system. The native landscape was once very abundant. The grasses were beautifully, they were thick and they were full of prairie forbs. They were absolutely breathtaking. But in 1838, the invention of the plow unfortunately brought much degradation to our land, and our prairie systems and many other systems have suffered because of that. That, for one reason, is why I decided to be a part of the NICC research. We utilize environmental monitoring practices through our prairie restoration research project. 18 years ago, NICC established their first research restoration project. And with that came the introduction of approximately 27 forbs and 8 grasses, 6 of which were perennial grasses. And within the last 7 years, Santee has already also been busy creating the restoration of some plots of land there as well, with the same 27 forbs and 8 grass mixtures. So the response of these native prairie systems to our current environmental conditions is what we are restudying right now. The methods that we're using are time-lapse photography, which we're now blessed with a camera right on the prairie system that will take, I believe it's every 20 minutes, it takes a snapshot. And then those photographs are put together so we can see the change over time. Weather data is collected daily. Plant counts are taken yearly, as well as soil testing to kind of see where we're at with diversity of both plant counts and the soil biology to see how that is healing. And our management practices consists of just letting it set idle at times, bush hogging it, haying it, and burning. These are the methods that we have used thus far. So over the last 10,000 years, the land has evolved, like I said before, over this period of glaciation, after the period of glaciation, at which time the rebirth of plant and animal life became abundant. It had the chance to regenerate and to become what the prairies used to be in this very semi-arid climate. And they became very adapted to specificity according to their environment. And that encompassed nearly 4 million acres. We have diminished that down to less than 1% of that at this time. Introduction of the plow became a very disseminating part of the prairie system. It was believed back in the 1830s that if you tilled the land, the rain would follow that. It would open up the land, it would bring the rains in. And for a few years, that theory proved to be ideal, and they got plentiful rains. But after a few years, they were hit by devastating droughts, and it proved that theory to be very incorrect. But by this time, lands were being tilled and were being managed to also justify manifest destiny. Next slide, please. So we kind of talk about what a prairie system is. It's a very unique biome consisting of complex, diverse numbers of plants, animals, soil, microorganisms, fire, hydrological cycles, energy cycles, and nutrient cycles. And within this very unique system, we have moderate rainfalls and temperatures, and each system has its own very unique way of evolving. Then we ask, why is a prairie system important? Well, diverse and complex systems significantly tribute to ecosystems. These systems help feed off of one another, and this helps build large quantities of organic matter and huge carbon stores that move back into the ground instead of what we're dealing with now, where the carbon is released into our atmosphere. So our prairie systems were a very huge component in storing carbon. It also has a very intricate filtering system that filters out a lot of impurities, including filtering our water systems. And this in return helps build diversity, resilience, and health. So the current responses to what has happened with our prairie systems involve the interconnectedness, the adaptability, and balance. So before, we had all of these little prairies that were, neighbors to one another. And even though they weren't the same prairie, they shared services. They had that ability to share the underground services, share the above ground services that helped build those prairies and helped them thrive and survive. They adapted to what they needed to adapt to build that interconnectedness. And some of that has been lost. A great deal of it has been lost due to our human footprint of tilling the land and our temperature and condition changes. That also brings about imbalances, and imbalances within systems open up the door for negative things to happen. There's a lot of multifunctioning organisms within that system. So let's look at our little microbes up here. So say this little happy blue guy right here was taken out for some reason or other. He then essentially, the work that he produced would have to be relied onto one of his neighbors or one of his friends here. And that's where we start to see the stress of the system. And there are many, many, many species within that system. So it's said that with one little tablespoon of soil, there could be 1 million little microorganisms in that one little tablespoon of soil. So there's many, many species and microorganisms working within those systems to produce a viable working community. So these diverse communities that work together, they end up having a lot of stressors, and their sharing of services has become disrupted. So they no longer have that strong ability to connect with the services provided before. And then when that happens with our additional human footprint, we see the weakened systems that will invite invasive species and pathogens as well. We also see a lot of loss of topsoil and tillage. And I believe there is a little caption under there that we can't see, but it is so the little caption under there was Deepak Chopra once said, "All great changes are preceded in chaos." And I think everyone would have to agree right now that our living systems here are in somewhat of a chaotic situation. So with that said, we're going to move on to the possibilities of creating a different kind of future and what we can create. So with that comes unstable conditions. We've had a lot of drought problems, fire frequency, intensity, and severe weather that has been brought about because of our unstable conditions. And we think about it, our systems are unbalanced now, and they're fighting back. They're fighting back to become balanced. And that's why we see a lot of these changes. So with our Santee observatory data, we notice higher temperatures due to following our weather data. We see drought conditions. And with those, we have noticed lower forb numbers. We don't see the wildflowers right now that we used to. The last 2 years, the forb numbers were very, very low. And with that comes, with the temperature fluctuations, we see a lot of timing that is off. Certain pollinators are coming in and they're, doing their pollination jobs, but the timing is off, so the flowers aren't flowering when they're used to be flowering, and the pollinators now are confused. And so the pollinators the flowers may not be getting pollinated, and there's less flowers because of the drought conditions. And of course, that brings about low seed production and of course, distribution. If there's less flowers, lower seed production, and less distribution, you're going to, of course, see less forbs. We had low forb counts for the last 2 years, and they were drought years. The grasses are the ones who championed. Now, a lot of these native prairie plants, their root systems go very, very deep into the ground, and they're able to garner nutrients and moisture. We also see a lot of hydrological challenges, and our wetlands have been compromised as well due to tillage practices and draining of those naturally wetland systems. So in light of the challenges that we are faced, there is a definite light at the end of the tunnel. And we know that Mother Nature is fighting to win, and Mother Nature is resilient. Regenerate and rebuild resilience. Mother Nature is going to regenerate. She's going to build resilience, whatever that looks like. It may not always be to us the most specific species that we want there, but that is her attempt to regenerate and rebuild. Mother Nature has a very intricate mechanism to create adaptability within the system. And unfortunately, not all of those who live in that system will be adaptable and will at some point will not be a part of the system any longer. Complexity works for survival, and diversity and complexity work together to help these plants thrive and survive. So how can we be a part of the solution? Well, we need to first start thinking local. We need to think local, like what can I do within my own little space? What little thing can I do? Then we also need to think futuristic. What do I want my ecosystem to look like in the future? And another part of that in moving forward is of course, education and growing forward thinking. The past is in the past, and it's very valuable because we've learned a lot of things from the plants and the species that were in the past. But we have to go forward, and we have to think forward of how we can help this system healing given the knowledge of the past. So in conclusion, diversity, preservation, and regeneration are some of the key elements to helping the systems heal. I have just a few final thoughts. So regenerative processes bring much hope to rebuild the new native prairie systems we will come to know and cherish in the future. Destruction has no beauty. Healing brings back fullness of heart and soul. There is no beauty in destruction, but the healing of loss brings joy to the soul. Joy to the soul brings health, happiness, and resilience to all beings, opening the doors for new stories, new chapters with new hope. Thank you for your time. Oh, these are a collection, a collage we put together of pictures that were taken in the past. The first one up here is a controlled burn that was conducted. That's one of the ways of managing the grass in the native prairie system. This next picture down here is of wildflowers and grasses when it was very abundant with wildflowers. That was fairly early on in the restoration. This middle picture here is just a beautiful picture of Mother Nature's gift, and one of the beautiful things that you can find out in the prairie system, showing that there are birds out there utilizing that system as well. And the last picture here, I took this spring out at our Santee Prairie. Right here, it kind of shows the diversity of the grasses growing out there, greening all up. So thank you.
Thank you, Shelley. Appreciate it. We're going to keep moving along. Christina Dozel is our next speaker. And Christina, I'll let you take it over. Okay.
Thank you, Hank. I apologize, I'm driving, but for the NASA class, bald eagles thriving on restored native land in Nebraska. Next slide, please.
Could we, if you're driving right now, Kika, could we move your presentation until you're in one location? We could have someone else go for now.
I got it pulled over. I'm pulled over. It's okay.
Oh, awesome. Okay, sorry about that. Just wanted to make sure.
It's okay. This
Thank you.
majestic bird holds a special place in many people's hearts. They are a symbol of courage and strength. You might think you know everything there is to know about bald eagles, but I'll bet there are a few things that would surprise you. Did you know the call of the eagle is not what you think? Females are larger than males. Eagles live for a very long time, averaging 25, possibly 40 years, and they've been recorded to live even longer. Eagles are still struggling to live and survive due to human impact on wildlife and habitat. Native Americans send their prayers to the eagle, did you know? So he has rise above the chaos to meet the creator and return. He will return with a vision for the people, hence their feathers are considered great aids, making spiritual contact and prayer with eagle. Eagle shows us that people with high ideals need to be able to spread their wings so they can reach for the stars. Eagle brings the gift of clarity of vision. As long as we follow our intuition, we can be healing in the right direction. I wanted to bring pretty much to the attention of bald eagles being on an extinction list. We will explore and restore native land in Nebraska, the impact it has on the bald eagle population, and evaluate the effectiveness of the restoration project that we're working on. Next slide, please. Right here, I did a chart, the nearest one that I could find to Omaha, Norfolk, Scottsbluff, Lincoln, restored area of restoration. It says a prime spot for the bald eagle breeding. Nebraska sees an increment in the raptor population during the warmer months. It is estimated that there are around 990 individuals in that area and around 200 breeding pairs and growing also. The species was removed from the state's threatened list in 2008, and Nebraska stopped monitoring the breeding pairs 5 years later in 2013. Hence, the actual number of breeding pairs and the population size could be much higher. Next slide, please. And I thought this was really neat, so I had to add this in here. The grace and strength and the beauty of the bald eagle has been admired through the ages. It is difficult to believe that this majestic bird, our national symbol, faced extinction just a few decades ago. Bald eagle populations were at an all-time low in the 1960s, with less than 12 known pairs in the Chippewa National Forest. Today, the forest supports one of the highest breeding densities of bald eagles in the continental United States. Next slide, please. And don't forget, bald eagles can be seen year-round across the state of Nebraska. However, winter and early springs is the best time of year to see the number of bald eagles. Don't forget to help and take care of our native lands and our wildlife matters. We can make a difference for coming generations to witness. Thank you.
All right, Kika, thank you so much. I think that picture of the state of Nebraska that showed the pairs in 2014 is really interesting, because I think a lot of times we think they're just by water, and they kind of are. They follow water, but they're all over the state and places you wouldn't think sometimes. Always thought that was pretty interesting, if I may add that, Kika. All right. The next presenter we have is Jaya Marks. And Jaya, I'll let you kind of take it from there.
Thank you. Noah Tasasat Jaya. Tiku Do It Society. Daku Wawa Tik Pawnee. I just said hello, my name is Jaya, and I'm learning to speak Pawnee. I am a Skokie, but I'm currently living in the Pawnee area, so why not educate myself further with their culture and their language? How do the Pawnee Nation's efforts in preserving and restoring sacred seeds contribute to their cultural heritage and the ecological well-being of their land? The historical significance of ancestral seeds to the Pawnee Nation is deeply rooted in their identity and traditions. These seeds are not mere sustenance, they are a living link to the past, embodying the rich wisdom and practices of the Pawnee ancestors. However, preserving these seeds presents both cultural and ecological challenges. Culturally, the erosion of traditional knowledge and influence of modern agriculture threaten the continuity of seed-saving customs. Ecologically, climate change and habitat loss pose significant threat to the viability of these seeds. Excuse me. Despite these challenges, the Pawnee Nation's seed preservation efforts stand as a testament to their resilience. Their work transcends the mere act of saving seeds. It is a fight to protect a rich cultural heritage and a critical ecological endeavor to maintain biodiversity. This dual purpose underscores the importance of their mission, as each seed saved is a step towards sustaining both the Pawnee culture and the health of the planet. You can just let this slide stay right here for a little bit. The literature review of the Pawnee Nation seed preservation efforts reveals a profound historical connection between the Pawnee people and their ancestral seeds. These seeds are more than just a source of nourishment, but they are and have been a sacred embodiment of the Pawnee spiritual beliefs, cultural practices, and ecological wisdom passed down to generations. The narrative of the Pawnee's resilience is woven gently throughout the tapestry of the unwavering dedication to preserving these seeds, despite facing numerous challenges, including environmental degradation, loss of land, and the encroachment of modern agricultural practices. The Pawnee have steadfastly upheld their commitment to safeguarding their heritage. The Pawnee Nation cherishes a collection of sacred seeds. You go ahead and go to the next slide, please. Each with its own story and significance. Next slide. Yes. Like this blue speckled corn, which stands out with its unique kernels, a symbol of the tribe's spirituality. The eagle corn, which carries the image of an eagle in flight, a rare variety that has narrowly escaped extinction. And varieties like yellow flower corn and white flower corn are staples for flour production, but also treasured for their distinct colors and textures. The blue flower corn and the red flower corn add vibrant hues to traditional Pawnee dishes, while the red and white striped corn are visually striking with its bold patterns. Lastly, the skeety popcorn is also a beloved part of the Pawnee's ancestral seed collection, popping into a snack that echoes the flavors of history. Together, these seeds form a living library of the Pawnee's agricultural heritage, preserved with care and reverence. These varieties are not just sources, but are essential to the Pawnee's cultural practices, ceremonies, and the connection to their land and ancestors. The preservation of these seeds are crucial for maintaining the biodiversity and the cultural heritage of the Pawnee Nation. The impact of the Pawnee Nation seed preservation is multifaceted. Ecologically, it contributes to the sustainability of the land by maintaining plant diversity and fostering soil health, which are critical, especially in today's with our climate change. Culturally, the act of preserving and passing down these seeds serves as an educational tool for our younger generations, instilling in them a sense of identity and continuity. It also provides a living connection to their ancestors, ensuring that the knowledge and traditions that define the Pawnee way of life are not lost to time, but may flourish for future generations to cherish and uphold. Through their efforts, the Pawnee Nation exemplifies how indigenous practices of seed preservation can be a powerful force for cultural revival and ecological balance. In conclusion, go ahead and go to the next slide, please. The Pawnee Nation's quest to preserve ancestral seeds reflects their enduring spirit and great respect for their heritage. This presentation should underscore the dual significance of their efforts, equally focused on preserving cultural identity and promoting environmental guardianship. The challenges faced, be it the erosion of traditional knowledge, climate change, or habitat loss, have only strengthened the Pawnee's resolve to protect and educate about the importance of biodiversity through preservation. Each seed preserved is a victory against adversities, a beacon of hope for future generations, and a testament to the Pawnee's dedication to maintaining the balance of life. As we reflect on the Pawnee Nation's journey, it becomes clear that their story is not just about saving seeds, but also about nurturing the very essence of life and continuity. The seeds are a symbol of resilience, a promise for the future, and a reminder of the everlasting bond between people and the environment. Through their actions, the Pawnee Nation, the Pawnee Nation inspires us all to consider our role in preserving the natural world and the diverse cultures that enrich it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaya. Well done. Well done. All you NASA fellows, great job. I think that's all we have on our end. I'll hand it back over to you, Megan. We'll go from there.
Okay. Thank you very much, NASA fellows. And thanks everyone for the patience a little bit too. There's a lot of screens and presentation stuff going on. But it is super awesome to be able to see all the work you guys are doing. And also to be able to hear a little bit more behind the projects too. So I really appreciate it. What we have scheduled next is Santee Dakota history, or excuse me, Santee Dakota tribal history, Dr. Haliga's class. And I will let her introduce the group here. But yes, we're going to start with Katarina. And I did want to give a little extra shout out because it is her birthday today. And I'm sorry to put you on the spot there. But we're really excited to hear from you and Brandy and Yasmin as well. So with that being said, Dr. Haliga, I will let you take it over. And Dr. Haliga, can you hear us? I think you're on mute right now.
I can. Sorry.
I think your mute might have kicked back on. Okay, and I did want to share an update too. I saw Steve put it in the chat here, but the internet is out in South Sioux City. So that may be a barrier we're experiencing here today too. Let's see. Dr. Haliga, is your connection any better now? Okay.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you now.
So my students that are going to be presenting today are in class of Dakota history, and we lots of topics in the class, more of a coming from a historic background, and coming forward, looking at the conflicts, looking at treaties, uh, schools, education, and we end up at the end of the course looking at more contemporary Dakota, notables who are doing things in terms of bringing back culture and bringing back language. And so for my classes, I've never been one to like give a traditional test or exam, a quiz. For final papers, I always like for students to write on something that they learned about throughout the class, throughout the semester, and write about it on their own, something that they're interested in. And so the students that I have today have all picked projects that are that they found interesting and that they wanted to write about. So they all have their own PowerPoints. Sorry. So let's see here. My students today that are going to be presenting are Katerina Robinette, Brandy Castillo, and Yasmin Sandoval. They all have their own PowerPoint.
Okay. So I think we are having some connections in some other areas too. So we'll see if Dr. Haliga can hop back on here. But I did want to ask for Brandy, Katerina, and Yasmin. Oh, okay, we see you back on here. Sorry, the connection's been really spotty. So go ahead, Dr. Haliga, and if you jump off again, we may just hand it over to Katerina to continue from there. Oh, and can you unmute your mic? Sorry, it keeps muting upon entry.
Okay, sorry. I don't know if any of you heard what I was saying, but so my students that are presenting today are from the Dakota history class. And in that class, we cover a lot of different topics, education, treaties, 1862 conflict, Crow Creek, and then we end our semester talking about current Dakota notables who are writing or doing something to preserve culture and language. And so for my class, I've never really been one to do a straightforward history or excuse me, exam or test. I always like for students to write about things that they find interesting. And so the my students that are presenting today chose these topics to write for their final project. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and just turn it over to, I've got Katerina Robinette, Brandy Castillo, and Yasmin Sandoval. Those ones are on the schedule to present. And they have their own PowerPoints.
Perfect. And so, Katerina, if you want to get started, I believe you should be able to share your screen, but if anybody is having issues with that too, just give me a holler and I'll give you permissions there.
Okay, I am trying to do that now. Mm.
Do you see where you can share on your screen, Katerina?
Yes, I hit that.
Once you hit share, a screen should pop up and it should be like a couple of different screens. And once you find your PowerPoint, there you go.
Okay. Is it working?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Katerina Robinette. Thank you for the birthday wish. I chose to do mine on the Dakota 38+2. I've lived in Knox County my whole life and I never knew about this. So when we learned about it, it caught my interest. So the Dakota 38+2 is the mass execution of the 38 Dakota men and later hanging of 2 additional Dakota leaders following the Dakota War of 1862. This event is an important tragic chapter in American history for both Native American people as well as the U.S. government. It all began in 1851. The Treaty of the Traverse des Sioux was created, which limited the Dakota Sioux to lands in Minnesota that were only 20 miles wide by 150 miles long. And it's over here in the red. I tried to circle it. This was a huge loss as the Dakota were previously accustomed to millions of acres. The Dakota went from rivers and valleys with lush prairies to a small strip of land that had virtually no hunting or foraging. With such a historical loss of land and loss of the culture and language in itself was much worse. Due to the loss of the natural resources, the Dakota people were not able to sustain their nomadic, land-based cultural practices, but rather an inactive, dependent, and colonized lifestyle. After being forced to such a scaled-down piece of land, the Dakota people struggled with starvation, since access to the hunting and gathering were decreased. The crops failed, the payments of the treaties of the U.S. government were delivered late, and they never kept their promise to bring food and supplies. The War of the Dakota 1862 began on August 17th, 1862, when 4 young Dakota men murdered 5 colonist settlers out of starvation and frustrations. Upon finding out about this, the men pleaded with the leader for protection, which he unwillingly agreed to. The next day, the Dakota warriors attacked, with fighting starting at the trader stores and then spreading. Lasting 6 weeks of devastation, it is said that more than 600 colonizers and approximately 75 to 100 Dakota soldiers were killed during the war. On September 26, 1862, 392 Dakota men prisoners were sentenced to death in rapid trials, some lasting no more than 5 minutes. Of those, 303 were sentenced to death and 16 received prison terms. President Abraham Lincoln looked over their transcripts of the 303 men and decided 39 prisoners were to be executed. 1 received a last-minute pardon. This was a historical massacre in Montoka, Minnesota on December 26, 1862. President Abraham Lincoln ordered for 38 men to be hung. This was the U.S. government's punishment against the Dakota people for their rebellion in the Dakota War of 1862. The trials, which had 0 representation, 0 preparation, and various communication difficulties, lasted less than 5 minutes each. In the end, 38 men paid the ultimate price for the war in the largest mass execution in U.S. history. There were roughly 4,000 colonizers in attendance that cheered as the hanging happened. 2 men escaped and they were captured and hung. And here is a picture of what that looked like. How do we honor them today? Jim Mill had a dream in 2005 to have a spirit journey on horseback. He dreamt he witnessed his relatives executed, and that dream inspired him to bring this annual event to life. The 330-mile journey from Louisville, South Dakota to Manitoka, Minnesota during the dead of winter. The 16-day ride begins on December 10th and ends on December 26th, the day of the mass hanging. This ride is to bring awareness, provide healing, and help reconciliation between the Native American people and the non-Native American people. Many ride horses, run, or support the ride as they can. Historical events like this are to be talked about and represented so history does not repeat itself. I personally chose this topic because I have a niece and a nephew who both participate in this ride every year. They ride horses in the dead of winter. And I never knew why in my naiveness, living in this Knox County all my life. This was not something that I ever learned. So I am very proud of them for that and look forward to supporting that any way I can this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Katerina. That was lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yasmin, are you here?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Do you want to go next?
I guess.
You can do it. It's going to be lovely.
Okay, I just need a second. Okay, can you see my screen? Hello?
Yes, I can
Yes.
see it.
Okay.
Can you
Okay.
make it out into a full page or full
Yes,
screen?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
Alrighty. Okay. I'm reading about the treaty of, or I'm writing about the Treaty of Traverse des Sioux and Mendota. I learned this in the Santee Dakota Tribal History class, and I'm presenting this, Yasmin Sandoval. Okay. East Santee Dakota. Woodlands people who have a fascinating but also oppressed history. Originating from Minnesota, band of the Metawakanta, meaning dwellers of the Mystic Lake, our ancestors lived a humble and traditional lifestyle with communal support and a deep connection to the land and natural resources. This way of life formed the basis for traditional Dakota social structure and culture. Unfortunately, our ancestors were forced to relocate many times, and we now reside on the bank of the Missouri River. Despite these challenges, Santee continues to hold on to rich cultural heritage and traditions. Okay. Treaty of Traverse des Sioux and Mendota. It was signed July 23rd, 1851, between 4 Upper Sioux Dakota bands and the United States government. This treaty was meant to transfer ownership of Dakota territory to the United States government over 30 million acres, much of current-day Minnesota, parts of Iowa, and parts of South Dakota. In return for this purchase, the Dakota were to receive a reservation along the Minnesota River, an annual payment of 7.5 cents an acre. Background. The treaties were negotiated by Territorial Governor Alexander Ramsey, fur trader Henry Sibley, and acting commissioner Luke Lee. Ramsey and Sibley were eager to open the land to new settlers. They also mentioned that the Dakota were underutilizing the beautiful and plentiful land and would benefit from a smaller territory. The Dakota chiefs Little Crow and Wabasha agreed only because survival had become difficult. They were literally starving due to all the excessive fur trading that had happened over the years by the United States government. Wrongdoings. Once these agreements were done, the United States turned around and sold this exact land to the new coming settlers for $1.25 an acre. Also, when the treaty signing was happening, there was never any proper explanation. Most times in a language the Dakota did not understand or writing they could not read. These annual payments that were promised never came or were most times unfavorable. The Dakota were also not allowed to leave the reservation that they had received through the treaty to hunt for game or fish. The following July payment didn't arrive. By August, the quotas began showing up at agency headquarters demanding food, which they would pay for once their checks came. Some agency officials gave them food, others were stingy. Trading post keeper Andrew J. Myrick remarked, "If they are hungry, let them eat grass." He would later die for these words. I'm sorry. Outcome. The outcomes of these wrongdoings caused the Dakota War of 1862, which took place from August 16, 1862 and ending on September 26, 1862. Dakota were tired of settlers displacing them, attempting to change their way of life, and subjecting them to starvation. This conflict lasted for 6 weeks as two divergent ways of life clashed. Resulting in numerous casualties, the United States won, but the Dakota won in a sense of fighting for who they were and fighting for our survival today. The Minnesota Historical Society has collected documents of this war over many years and has them on display in North St. Paul, Minnesota. Thank you.
Thank you, Yasmin. Thank you. Brandy, are you here? Or Leah?
I don't think Leah was able to make it today.
Okay. Is Brandy here?
I don't see her on the list, but if she does come in a little bit later, we can move forward toward the end too.
Okay. Thank you so much, Megan, and thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And if you do have any questions or just want to give some extra shout out, kudos, please include it in the chat here. I do apologize too, because we know the question and answers are some of the best parts of this. But just because of the sheer number of presenters, we may save that toward the end for anyone else who wants to stick around. So please utilize the chat where you're able. And with that being said, we are going to continue to work our way across the event here. So just so everybody is aware of kind of our schedule coming up, we have Greenhouse Internship next, followed by AHEC, followed by Star Quilt, and then we'll wrap up with Native American genealogy research. So Russell and Rosalind, if you guys want to get rolling, we're excited to have you. And thank you again, everybody else.
Howdy. My name is Russell Montgomery. I'm the greenhouse manager here at NICC. Managing plant systems requires the resilience to organize a quiet ballet, even in, uncertain conditions. And Rosalind exemplified that this semester. So without further ado, Rosalind, take it away.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yep, Rosalind, we can hear you.
Just making sure my connection's kind of spotty.
Yep, you're coming in loud and clear right now.
Okay. I'm just trying to share my screen really fast. Um, it's mm. Can we come back to me? I have to figure something out with my screen. It's not letting me share.
Let me see, maybe it's on my end. When you click share, is it giving you like pictures of your screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you can do is you can select whichever screen you want to share and then pull, yep, perfect.
Oh, okay.
So we can
Okay.
see your PowerPoint now. You're great.
Okay, thanks. All right, so this is my internship that I did in greenhouse gardening. My name is Rosalind Grant. I'm a spring intern under Russell Montgomery. I'm in the first year of my associate's degree. My current goal is to achieve a bachelor's degree in environmental science. This is a picture of me and my son Kenai at the Henry Dorley Zoo. I added some dinosaur icons and stuff because that's his favorite subject. So why did I choose the greenhouse? I knew this internship is a strong resume builder for my pursuing profession. I had been longing to learn about plants for some years now. I know that the knowledge of greenhouse management will help me in the future. And it was a good first step down a career path that I would love doing. What did sorry, my screen's like kind of cracked, so I can't really see. What did I do in the greenhouse? My first task was I built and repaired systems. In this video that I have, you could see the bucket drip system being assembled and the NFT channels. I just got done cleaning those and assembled them into their designated spots. And underneath, I have 2 reservoirs that I scrubbed and cleaned. What else I learned in the greenhouse is I learned how to plumb. I got familiar with different types of pipes and tubing, such as PVC, PEX, and polyethylene. In this video, this black tubing right here, that's the polyethylene. Right here, I zoom in on the PVC, and then at the end here, you could catch like a glimpse of that white tubing, that's the PEX. So plumbing was required to build the bucket drip system. I managed the bucket drip system. After the bucket system was built and mapped, I then transferred the plants to their designated spots. Every plant started in tray inserts, also known as cells, except for the cucumbers. They were directly sewn into the buckets. Top left corner is the cucumbers growing. Underneath that are peppers. And then the top right are tomatoes, and underneath that are more peppers. So monitoring the bucket system, scouting was a huge and important task. I learned a lot about making management decisions regarding pests and bacterial and fungal infections. Monitoring also allowed me to become familiar with scouting for nutrient deficiencies. Throughout the growing period, when necessary, I would also prune and trestle the plants. So the first picture I have here, that's a pepper, and I think it's a potassium deficiency that you could see in the leaves, that it's looking like purplish. And the same thing with the tomatoes underneath. And there's a picture of some tomatoes that are being trestled up into like a V-shaped. I manage the hydroponic systems. A hydroponic system is a growing method that uses nutrient-rich water solution instead of soil. The NFT system consists of channels that have a continuous flow of water. These channels allow plants to grow from seeds up until they're ready for harvest. The NFT stands for nutrient film technique. And yeah, I think this was the first batch of harvest when everything was growing beautifully. This first channel that you see in the right corner, that's the nursery channel. That's where all the seeds begin. I learned water chemistry. Knowing what's happening within the water in the hydroponic systems is very important because each species has a desired range of pH, which stands for potential of hydrogen, and EC, which stands for electrical conductivity. The first step in testing the water's pH and EC, I can't see what that says. I'm sorry. Was calibrating the pH meter. This involved adjusting the meter to match the pH of the solution, ensuring accurate readings for experiments. After calibration, I collected the water from all 3 reservoirs. I did some testing on the water, and then I put the data into the greenhouse log. I proactively managed the water levels in each reservoir before or after experimenting with the water. This was done by adding appropriate nutrient solutions to precisely adjust the pH and EC levels. Here's a video of me and Kenai testing the pH and EC. While my system, and I kept on planting. While my systems were working, I had plenty of time to practice growing from seed using soil. This is a variety of plants that I had going on. I harvested crops. This task required keeping a database of weight and quantity. For distribution, I would post on my socials that cultivars were ready for harvest. Individuals would contact me if they wanted any. Then these are just some Facebook posts that I did. And I got pretty good feedback, and I would give them all out mostly every time. I designed the grow tower that's located inside of the NICC building. I took on another project outside of the greenhouse, the grow tower. For the tower, I cleaned every attachment and then mapped where each cultivar should go. I grew each plant from seed in the nursery channel and in the NFT system, and then I transferred them to the tower. My tasks included maintaining cleanliness and ensuring the lights and water timers worked efficiently. And this is a video, or these are some videos of my son, Kenai, helping me in the greenhouse that I wanted to include. This is him helping me clean out some white tubs. And he did such a good job. I didn't tell him to do anything. He just wanted to help. And then here's another video, and this is him putting helping me put dirt into the tomato pots because, or yeah. He would just watch me and then take do it on his own. At the beginning of the internship, I let Russell know that I wanted my son to be involved with what we had going on. I felt it was important for him to experience a greenhouse setting. I wanted to end my presentation by thanking all of the NICC staff for helping me along this spring semester. I also want to give a shout out to Russell for all the help he provided, as it meant a great deal to me. I met so many kind and intelligent individuals by choosing to work for the greenhouse, and it was a good experience. And that's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rosalind. And I see some great comments in here too. In the chat here too, just especially seeing your little helper, just super awesome. So we are now on to our last 3 courses. We have AHEC, Start Quilt class, and then also our Native American genealogy class. So some of you may have heard of the term AHEC, but also may not have a great idea of what goes on at this conference. So we're really excited to get to connect with Carlton Edwards and the students there who were part of the AHEC team. So I will let Carlton take it over from here. And it's been really cool to watch you guys in this process too. So I'm excited to hear from your perspective on this. And Carlton, are you here right now?
I just heard my name. What was that, Megan?
We're at the AHEC presentations now.
Okay.
So did you want to give an introduction of your students that are here and talk a little bit more about the work they did here?
Yeah, so I was the instructor for the AHEC class. Can everybody see me or is my video off?
I can see you.
We can
Carl.
see you in here.
Yep, we can see you.
All right, so the AHEC class, I mean, it's kind of like a just to get students ready to go to the AHEC student conference every year. And I taught the section in the fall, and then also we had an expedited section in the winter or in the spring, the first half of the spring semester for additional students to get involved. And you know, it's really important to make sure that students have the ability to meet and to, you know, get acquainted with each other and you know, to build these teams, because a lot of the competitions are team-based. You know, if anybody is curious about it, AHEC website, you know, has some information. Then there's also AHEC student conferences websites that are put together every single year for the different sites by the hosts. I'll look for the one for this year. And kind of gives you an idea about what the competitions are about. It's kind of a big deal, you know. I mean, some of the colleges, they bring a lot of people there to compete, and it's really awesome to see. I mean, you see a lot of students, you know, that are you know, obviously put a lot of time and energy and effort into these events. And you know, this year we had 2 students get first in their art competitions, which is awesome, you know, and I like to have the trophies on the table, you know. So it was when we were at the awards banquet, you know, some of the colleges that have a lot of students, you know, they're sitting there with, you know, 20 plus trophies there. And so it kind of makes you feel competitive, you know. You want to represent, you know, you want to have a good showing. And so, but it's hard to convey that to people that have never been, you know, what the competition's all about, and you know, the kind of the experience that it provides to students and to faculty and to staff. And we had 5 students that were able to go this year. Catherine Morris, Julius Atholi, Cyan Schoenfeld, David Fremont, and Serena Campbell. And I know that some of them are on this meeting, so I'll turn it over to them and let them kind of share some of their experiences. If anybody would like to go, I saw,
I will.
okay.
I'm actually just getting out of the shower, so, so I'm gonna keep my what do you call it off, okay? Hi, this is Catherine Morris. This is my second year attending AHEC, and man, I really had a good time this year, even though I had technical difficulties. I was really in a lot of pain and everything, but we did really good. I decided to not attend my speech competition because we were doing really well in the hand game, and I didn't want to let my fellow students down by missing our competition and everything. We ended up getting up to the 5th round, and I was real proud of all of them. We had a good time, and let's see, but like Carlton said, they did really well in their competitions and everything. I actually did a PowerPoint and everything. I got it to Carlton, but it just showed their trophies and whatnot. I just wanted to say congratulations again to them. And the thing that I really, really wanted to say that I was most proud of about of them was hold on, was how they took care of me. They knew I was having a hard time, and they sure, took care of me. How I would hope young kids all over would take care of their elders and everything. And I just want to say thank you. That really touched my heart that they were like that. But yeah, they really had so much. They carried all my stuff for me. They loaded me up in the van when we were in the truck when we were going going to the store or going to the bookstore or whatever. Carlton was real good about kind of showing us a few of the sites around town and everything. That was like my best time ever. And yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to say congratulations to all the winners, and thank you to NICC for allowing me to attend again this year.
Cyan and David. We were just gonna reminisce on the trip, as it's a lot of opportunity. They have a lot of other colleges set up where you can look into different schools, and it's really good for young people. Like for me and David, it was awesome, our first experience. Just a lot to do there, and it was very busy, but it was fun. We had I don't know what I'm trying to say. But at first we was both gonna drop out right at the last minute just because we didn't have a really good babysitter, but I'm glad we really went. David did good in the painting, obviously, and then he did good in the chess. I entered a ribbon skirt. I didn't do well, but I'm just barely beginning to learn how to make stuff. But if you're competitive, there's a lot of stuff that they offer to be competitive in and try, even at just like art and education. You got different sporting events too that is fun to participate in. And like everyone else said, me and David, I've never done hand games, and it was kind of crazy how we did pretty good at hand games. It was a lot of fun, and it's a good little vacation if you're doing school full time, and it's a good 4 days just to take off and be around other really talented natives and represent your school. And like I said, the tables, the other college tables they have set up there, you can learn a lot. Not even just colleges, there are other job opportunities for young people to go to. And I don't know if everybody knows that, but it's a really good place to network. That's and with all of our people that went, I feel like we're all really connected, and we barely knew each other, and we left there like relatives. So it was fun.
Yeah, it was, my perspective, it was a good experience, and I enjoyed it. Part of the networking was good as well. It's good to see that there's a lot of sources out there that we can tap into. We just have to take the time and to look into those things. And yeah, I was leery about it at first too, because I wasn't sure how we should, just take off from work and our family and whatnot. But in the end, it was a good experience. I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed the company. I had a good time, and I appreciated it. And then I implore any other students that are thinking about it or looking into it, do it. You won't regret it. It's a good experience. Sorry, we couldn't put a slideshow together neither, because we're just
Trying to get
Fine.
finals done.
finals week and just had a tight schedule.
Life happens. All right. Julius Otholi here, one of the teammates here that went to AHEC in Minneapolis. Very wonderful experience. Thank the college for allowing us this opportunity to go. I think it should be a requirement for all freshmen. I mean, it was really totally amazing. The networking, so many colleges there, so many different opportunities. There's people recruiting there for different jobs. NASA's there, USDA, the Treasury, Harvard's there. Other colleges are even there to help out. And if you're looking to further your education, there's so many different avenues out there for you, and they're there to lend help and support. And the amount of people that we met there was, I mean, I don't know, it was in the thousands. And we, us going there, the five of us, we became a family. The first time going there, I never played hand games either. And, in order for us to compete, we had to be in, hand games and archery and, the Knowledge Bowl. It wasn't just a fun trip, it had to be educational as well. And it was an eye-opening experience, never having to play hand games here in Zuni, and being able to go there and learning and winning and going into, the tournament was really, really awesome. This coming year we need to have a team. We got to be amazing, because that it's an adrenaline rush, and it's a part of history. It's a part of our ancestors that we get to relive, and part of them we remember, and little things just like it. And even though it's for fun, our people used to do that hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and now we're getting to relive that again. And it was a powerful experience. I mean, if you get a chance, look on YouTube. People really get into it. Get it on all fours and everything. But it's just maybe that spirit that gets into everyone. But it was a totally awesome experience. Going into the competitions, we had the Knowledge Bowl. We had to read books. A couple weeks into going into competition, we had to read books. Because there's so many different questions that were being asked about. Maybe 7 or 8 different books, and we all tried to read them within the last couple months. And there's a lot of knowledge there too. We learned about the constellations, we learned about the plants. I even went into a competition on plant identification. I don't know how I did, but I learned a lot. And to me, it made me real proud to be there, as a Native American, and as a part of Nebraska Indian Community College, because I don't get that knowledge here on the reservation in Zuni. Our knowledge is totally different than knowledge there, and this is a whole lot more, and it was really eye-opening. So that was really, really cool. We got time to kind of hang out, like Kat was saying. We had like little family stuff going on. We got to go to the Mall of America. We even got to drive by where George Floyd, that whole incident that happened, and that was, heart stopping. We got to see, where the Native American concentration camps were at. David and Boss Man got to collect some tobacco. We got to leave some tobacco. We saw Hell's Kitchen. There's so many opportunities there. There was arts and crafts, there was painting. There was someone from back home that hadn't been home for 18 years that I met. She was from, the Pueblo Kiwa, and, she knew who my grandparents were, and she was saddened to know that my grandparents were gone. And, it's a small world to know that, just, this little, competition, AHEC conference, brings a lot of people together. And, with David, Cyan, everybody, like we became a little family, where, everything's expensive out there too. So we're out hunting for a Walmart, just trying to survive. But, Hell's Kitchen was down the way. If we wanted to go, we could go there. And just having that opportunity, having the Big Ten college games being played just down the road, fans being sitting there yelling in the morning from, at breakfast. And it was like an adrenaline rush. I want everybody to go and experience it, and it was really, really cool, the things that we experienced. And I think we need to get more people to go. If you have this opportunity, take this class and go. And it's so much fun. You get so much out of it. Right now here in Zuni, we have droughts, and we can't grow things here. But I'm networking now with a bunch of people that I learned or got information from at those colleges and through the USDA and whatnot. So we're starting eco restoration efforts here on the reservation, and that's thanks to NICC sending me out to Minnesota. And if I hadn't gotten the chance, I don't know where I would be. So, we're, just these little small trips and whatnot that this college affords, or sends us off to, can, it's going to be here for us, it's going to be there for our children. Let's take these opportunities because there's something greater out there. And taking the opportunity to go out there and just jump in, like David and Cyan said, they wanted to back out, but they have a family now. We have a family, and we have so much resources that we can share with one another. So, I know we're a small college, but, let's get our resources together, get more people in this class, and head out as a team. Because, we're a dying breed out here. And, in order for us to continue, we need education and we need to network. But, for Carlton, and my teammates, I love you guys. Thank you for everything. Fogo de Chow's for life. We went to fancy restaurants, we saw it all. And you guys have this opportunity next year, and take it. Thank you.
I'm gonna get that tattooed on me now.
Big antes. We need big antes.
Fogo de.
Fogo de Chao. Hand games, guys. Hand games. That's the thing right there. Big power, big medicine.
These guys even came up with a hand game slogan, but it's not appropriate for this meeting. So we'll have to talk to them in person about that.
It was fun though. They were talking about me. Oh shoot.
It's a t-shirt slogan.
Yep. I need to beat a hat.
Yeah, we need a big team next year for hand games.
Yeah, I got
Make a
Go ahead,
power
Serena.
tour.
Okay.
Sorry, I think there's a little bit of echo. Serena, can you try that one more time? If everyone can mute their mics, I'm gonna try that too.
Is that better?
Wait, now I'll turn mine off. I guess.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear.
Is your mic on?
Yeah.
Is your volume up?
Oh, suppose.
No, we can hear you, Serena.
Oh, okay. I only have like 4 slides, but
Okay, just give me a second. I'll give you sharing permissions here.
okay.
All right. Awesome. I'm so glad you guys were all able to make it, all of the AHEC team. So this is awesome.
Yes.
Okay, let me know if that works, Serena. You should be able to click share and then select the picture of the screen you want to share.
All right, I got it. So it was in Minneapolis this year, and one thing I liked about it was the teacher exchange, just because you definitely connected with some of the other students who are going to different tribal colleges all across from wherever. These are some of the shirts I got, and I really liked that. Another thing I liked was all the art. Here's some of the pictures. And that's it. It was only a few slides, but I really enjoyed going just because of all the events. And that's all I have to share. Everybody really said it better.
Megan, if you want to throw mine up there, I got mine done too. Maybe these guys can just go ahead and tell you what's going on in each of these pictures and everything, because they're self-explanatory and they are, and I have to head out to work, so I'm gonna try to get you on my phone, but go ahead. And that was the honoring our traditions was the logo, or was the theme this year. Adapting to our future. And that was Minneapolis when we came into town. That was the coolest picture I took, I think. That was the parade of flags. That went from the door that's way on the right there, and then down below, that's a coffee shop and everything. It went way back to the back. But this was the morning we started. That was our parade and everything. Next. I wanted to get our flags up above in there and everything, so it kind of cut off the bottom, but that was our Nebraska Indian Community College flag. That was everybody that was in line. That was nice that everybody came and everything. Crystal and Chrissy, Serena's mom. That was man, we just had a lot of fun all together. However many you had, Wainema. That was the night shots. We took a ride to see the see the sights and everything, and then like Julia said, Carlton took us to the store so we could buy a few things for our room. I loaded me and Serena up. We had cereal and everything.
Catherine, that was a great response, however many we had. So how many did you take from NICC? That's my question.
I took 2 from NICC. And Crystal actually gave me their 2016 hand game champion shirt, but I kept that, so I still have that. And
I think it's really. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you could trade as many shirts as you had last year. I traded 6.
Did you take 6 NICC t-shirts to exchange?
Yeah, I had I had 2 what do you call them with the collar, collared shirt. I took 3 different kind of t-shirts that we had I had gotten from when I was working. So I took 6 different t-shirts, and I got 6 different t-shirts last year. I had like one from what do you call it? Wait, up in
Well,
Michigan. Yeah,
it's important. To me, it's the t-shirt exchange is really important, absolutely important, AHEC staff and faculty. We really need to support these students. Let them take 5 or 6 from NICC.
We need
because
some more designs too.
yeah,
yes,
exactly.
that's what our goal is next year. Yeah.
If you don't have that many t-shirts to give, then your t-shirt exchange is over in 2 minutes. So
Yeah.
if these students are to exchange and to introduce one another and get to know all the other AHEC students, they're going to need, I mean, 6 is minimum as far as I'm concerned. I think 10 would put them in the ballpark, because I've seen other AHEC colleges and the part of the AHEC, they let those students take a lot of t-shirts, and boy, everybody is out there and they are busy for a long time exchanging t-shirts. So I think, I don't know, that's always been my goal, is to help students get, to know other people, to do this networking, as you say, but you can't do it if you've only got 2. I mean, of course you can go around and visit, but I mean, they do look to you to see what kind of t-shirts you're willing to exchange. So
I mean,
please,
yeah.
please say
I mean,
that.
even as
One more thing, Kat, I wanted to say, please, 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 NICC, let's let students take at least 6 to 8. Please. All right. I'm sorry, Kat, but I just had to get that in.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, even as students, I love my school. I'd like to have more T-shirts, to wear when I go over to school and everything. People always ask what's NICC when I'm wearing my. I have 3. I still have 3 T-shirts and a polo that I wear around still. So yeah, I mean, even our shirts and everything. Boy, there was some really fancy shirts going on around there. You can go ahead and hit the button again, Megan. This is some of the artwork that was there. Those were that's a beaded picture there on the right hand side there. Yeah, me too, Jay. Go ahead. There's our trophy and AR. There's the trophy that Julius won, and then there's the other trophies that the other 2 won for the painting, David and Serena. And then you go ahead and move it next. This was another picture that another student from another school did, but I just thought it was really cool. I took a few pictures of the artwork that was going on up there. It really, something to look at. That was my favorite. That's Julius's daughter. That's the team right there with that girl putting her hand up and everything. That was like one of her. That's how she was punking you when she was looking at you. She was smiling real big and everything. And,
that's the team to beat right there.
Yeah, that's the one that beat us. Yep. That's what I said. I gotta beat it at. Just a couple scenes.
We need a dedicated singer too, or 2, because that was a big issue. We didn't have a singer.
And hand games was so freaking fun and lit. It was so loud in there and awesome. And you could feel like the energy in the room, and it was really fun.
Okay. You guys finish telling the story about these because I really gotta go on my ride's waiting for me outside. Like I gotta go to work. All right, love you guys. Miss you guys.
Miss you. See you.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you, Carlton. Thank you, NICC.
We had to use we had to pick up singers from other schools, and a couple of times they were singers for teams that we either were playing next or that we had previously beaten. And it was hard to get singers. Some of them didn't want to help us, you know.
But
and
they
so-
had to because we had tobacco, man.
Yeah, exactly.
The Indian way, you give them tobacco, they gotta say yes. So then we beat them the next round, just humiliate them, huh?
Yeah, there was one singer or a couple singers from a college that they sang for us, and we beat the team we were going against, and then we played that team next, and we beat them after they helped us. So we really need to bring at least one dedicated singer.
Mhm.
We didn't have singers, and it hurt us because the singing really helped a lot.
Yeah. And they'll be singing Omaha. These guys were singing their tribal, their tribal hand game song. So yeah, if we take one from ours and with that tobacco, we'll take first place every time.
But it was a lot of fun. I mean, and we made it through. We lost the first match to the College of the Muskogee Nation. Then we won the second match against Salish Kootenai College. And then we won the third match against Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College. And then that was the end of day one. And then day two, we beat College of the Muskogee Nation because it was a double elimination tournament. We beat College of the Muskogee Nation in a rematch. And then did we win another one after? We beat another team after that too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we played another team and beat them, and then we lost to IAIA.
Mm.
That one was a pro that had the beaded cowboy hat on.
Yeah, big Andy.
These guys just couldn't get around her.
She has strong medicine, man. But yeah, I mean, if we can find someone who's got them Omaha songs and included into the AHEC class, I mean, I think that'd be keen. So that way we can use those in the hand games and knock it out, bring back a trophy or two.
For sure. If we were kind of doing good, winning on just 5 of us and not knowing anything, I can't imagine if we really had people knowing what they're doing.
Had a whole squad.
Or had a bigger squad. You should have seen they had 2 rows of people at some times. So it's intimidating, but still it was fun.
It was nice and loud having at least 8 games going all at once, something like that, and the singing that was happening at the same time.
NICC did really well.
Oh, I'm so glad.
And it was fun. I mean, it was nice to be making it through that second day. I think that we were 12. We lost out when there was still 12 teams, right? So there was, I think, 28 or 29 teams in the whole tournament. So we were in the upper half of teams. And Little Priest lost on the first day.
Wow.
They were the defending champs. They were the champs last year. And they lost, I think they lost 2 games in a row, and they were out the first day. So yeah, I mean, AHEC, it's a big deal. I mean, it's really an awesome experience, but it takes planning. And I mean, I have my thoughts, and I know I've talked to Chrissy and Megan and others, about things, but we need to build these teams because they have a knowledge bowl team, there's a business bowl team, there's a science bowl team. And in a lot of times, trying to recruit students to go, they've never been there, they don't know what it's going to be like, so they might be apprehensive about putting the time away, especially making arrangements with childcare, with family life and things like that. But it's really fun, and it's a really good experience. And I mean, I think the more people that we have, go, and they get to participate, I mean, the more it's going to benefit NICC as well as, you know, everybody who's there and the students, you know.
And there's prize money, wasn't there? Like
Yeah, there was.
$5,000.
They had prize money for the winners.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the powwow was awesome. I mean, everything was great.
And I believe that next year, 2025, it's in Rapid City.
Oh,
So
that's
these-
right over, that's not too far from here. We could
Right,
take
so-
10, 12 students.
So those
15.
that don't know, AHEC switches between 5 sites. It switches every year. It rotates from between Minneapolis, Rapid City, Bismarck,
Albuquerque.
Billings, and Albuquerque.
Yep.
And I'm not completely sure of the order, but I know last year was Albuquerque, and this year was Minneapolis, and next year is Rapid City. And then I'm not sure if it's Bismarck or Billings the following year.
I think we need at least 15 to 20 people.
But I mean, even with the faculty, I would like to find, you know, a knowledge bowl coach, a business bowl coach, and a science bowl coach, you know, from the beginning of the school year, so that we can build those teams to compete. I mean, these Catherine did a really good job as the team captain for us for the knowledge bowl. She how many challenges did she make? And she won them all too, didn't she? So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities for growth and learning at the events, you know.
Absolutely.
And you can't be late.
And I also want to add too that this event happened oh gosh, what was our dates here? Early mid-March, right? And it's been a really busy semester since then. But we do hope to be able to regroup with the AHEC crew and figure out ways we can improve for future years. I know some of that will probably be a little smaller group with the folks that attended, right, for that immediate feedback. But if it's something you're interested in, you know, I think it would be amazing if we could have a second session where we have bigger, more group input to how to make it happen across our institution. Because it is kind of a misconception for a lot of people, or especially for me, is I had no idea that the competitions were across multiple disciplines, right? So there's really something for science, something for business, something for a lot for Native studies, a lot for art, you know. But it really is a beautiful place that represents NICC really well, and especially with all the other tribal colleges, it's really brilliant. I know there's a couple more slides here I'm gonna share with you guys that Kat shared, but I did want to include too, if you'd like to be part of those connections, please feel free to include your information in the chat so we can brainstorm some ideas to come here too. And yeah, there's some really good stuff in here. So I'll go to these next ones too, but sorry, I wanted to add that in real quick so that way we don't leave anybody out of those future conversations.
That was the best.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
One of the days we ventured out for lunch because the conference didn't really have a lot of food options at the convention center, and so we went to Fogo de Chao downtown Minneapolis. It was only a couple blocks away, and it was great.
We were meat wasted. We were ready to just go home and hang the towel up.
For those that don't know, it's a Brazilian barbecue place where you have the token with the green and the red sides, and then they just keep bringing meat.
And the spread was awesome. We had Ibera ham, prosciutto, and stuff that, you know, that you see on cooking shows. We had that on the spread on the buffet. It was really awesome. Filet mignon at lunchtime.
Oh, wow.
It's really good.
I don't know how many pictures she has in here.
Okay.
Oh, that could crop me out. Yeah.
Thank you, NICC. That was awesome.
I
Thank you.
enjoyed meeting the
guys did a good
students and
job.
spending the time with the students too. And, you know, I really enjoyed the experience as a faculty and staff member.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing. And I feel really fortunate to be able to have kind of been a wallflower during this experience too. It's a very unique experience, and the really cool part that everyone was sharing is that really a lot of this stuff and the competitions we're already doing throughout the year, right? We're doing these things in our other courses, and students are really putting a lot of the work in throughout the year. So why not showcase some of that beautiful work? So similar to AHEC, we also have our student showcase that you're all at right now that we're shooting for doing each semester in a way that we can kind of, give those shout outs in-house, right? And so we do hope eventually that the student showcase, right, in AHEC, we can kind of come together and have some good direction going forward and expand even more. Because if our AHEC presence is anything like our student showcase presence, we've really seen that grow, the student showcase in the past couple of years. So I hope the same thing as we continue with AHEC and as we grow, right? So our last two groups that we have for today, and I recognize we're getting a little close to 3 o'clock. So thank you guys all for sticking around. I know this is a little bit more timely, but just such incredibly exciting things and such great work from the students. So with that being said, we will have Patty Provost connect in with her students. I know South Sioux is having some connectivity issues, so we'll see what we can do here. And then following, we'll have Native American genealogy with instructor Wainima and Tim following. So Patty, whenever you're ready.
Oh, real quick before we start with you, Patty, Megan, do you know if Tim is in the group? Well, let's move on. We'll find out soon enough.
I'll check in the chat here. I'll let you know.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Patty, whenever you're ready. And Patty, if you're here, I think you're, oh, there we go. Okay. I was gonna say, I think your mute was on.
Okay, I'm on. Let me try to. Is this it right here? We were all ready, but half an hour ago. Okay. Oh, no, now it's doing this. Yeah, it's here. This is it here.
And we can see your PowerPoint slide right now, Patty. I think we're in the right spot.
Okay, we're getting ready here. Is it sharing? Let me see what it shows on yours. I'm sorry. Okay. Hello. Thank you guys for waiting for us. And I sure enjoyed Carlton's and the AHEC students. Thank you for all that. I teach the Star Quilt class in South Sioux City. And I'm going to just give you a little brief update of each student, and then I'll let them speak. Kutsi, everybody knows Kutsi. She's our class clown. She's she started with a star quilt, and she did really good. It was really pretty. It had purple. I don't have a picture of it, but it was purples, and she did really good. She ended up hand quilting the whole thing. And but anyway, while I'm speaking here, you can see after that she did a baby eagle. And then she was telling me, Patty, I'm never going to do a star quilt again. And she switched to what quilters call half square triangles. See this, there's a square and but then you cut them in half and sew them together. And she just, her being as intelligent as she is and a whiz at math and science, she just would laugh every time I would say a half squared triangle, because in the math world, that's not that's not a thing. And okay, Serena wants to add a little bit also.
I really like Pootsie. She always knows what to say. And
Ask good questions.
yes.
Yeah. Is that sharing the screen right there?
Yeah, it
Okay.
is.
Okay.
That's all I have to say about Pootsie.
Okay, and then we'll let Kutsi speak. Oh, darn it, darn it, darn it, darn it.
My name is Kutsia. For short, they call me Kutsi. I'm super duper red shirt senior in quilt class. Patty want me to know the meaning of my name. So my name means holy or an angel. Okay. And here I'm learning every day about native culture, tradition, and history. I learn different kind of quilts. For example, star quilt, baby quilt, pinwheel, half square triangle, and eagle, baby eagle. So I love this class. I'm not going to this class till she kick me out. Okay.
I'm sorry, I forgot to add that, I think everybody should know by now, but Kutsi, her brother died yesterday but she made it out there Wednesday afternoon. So I, thought I'd share that with you all. My next girl is Leandra, and I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, but she lives in Macy. I want to add that she has 10 kids, and you could never tell it. She's really soft spoken, so I'm going to have to turn my volume way up. But these are just a few of the ones that she made. There's the baby eagle. Her first one was the pink star quilt in the upper right-hand corner. And then she did the headdress, and then she was working on a swirl. And now I didn't get that picture ready, but she's going to make a large size eagle. Did you want to add?
Yeah, I just met Leandra at the beginning of the class. I didn't really know her, but I definitely like her personality, and I love the designs she came up with. She's very creative.
Yeah, I like to add that she's really soft spoken. I don't know how she could do that after 10 kids. Here we go. She got an A+ for that one. Okay, next we have Anita Hellam Lemire, and she's sitting here with us today. And then Jim popped in also. I don't know where he's at right now, but she's from the last name, you'll know that they're brother and sister. She was brand new to quilting, and I'm going to have to thank Serena a whole lot because Serena really worked with her, and but you can tell by her quilts that she did really good. She would ask for help once in a while, and we just let her know what she needed to do, and then from there she took off. Serena. She's making a do not speak sign.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Sioux City and what community? My name is Anita. I'm from the Sioux City area. The 17 area take care of the Matapon area. I come from the 17 nation. I wanted to learn how to make sparklets. So that's why I came to this class. That was my interest. And I'm close to retiring from my job and I want some hobbies. So yes, I was now that I could put a sparklet together with a lot of assistance. What I like about me, everything pretty much, but what I really like was the support from parents and all. Honestly, the interaction with your own people.
Did you want to add something, Serena?
Yes, I want to say that Anita is the nicest person I ever met, and I really had fun teaching her how to make her first circle.
I agree with you. Our next one is Monica Cleveland. She lives in Winnebago, and her and Leandra, I worry about them every time they come up but they stay, and they make that long trip back there. Monica has sewed before. I think she'll say that in her little talk here, but she wanted to learn how to do the star quilts, and she's another one that if she has a question, she'll, you just have to show her once, and she takes right off. Keep on
Good
adding.
evening. My name is Monica Cleveland. I come from the Nebraska tribe of Nebraska. It has not been tribe. That's a whole story. I come from the Booger Clan people. My interest in this class was to learn how to do star quilts. I already knew how to sew, but I wanted to learn how to do the star quilts. What I also about this class is
The whole thing, show her. Okay, it's just this. Okay, it's just that.
Learning about them and about different sewing tips that they may have. I'm also from County, and she's a good instructor, and she takes the time to teach us and so that we learn and take something away from this class. And also, it was interesting to learn where the star quilt originated from and how it became to be. That's it. Yeah.
Our next gal is Galen Ironhawk. She's one of those ladies that she real neat, does things precise. And she not only is doing one here, she comes to class, but she's got another one going just like it at home. She irons every little piece, which I don't do. But yeah, she's just one of the best, just like all the girls in the class.
I grew up watching my mother create beauty by sewing together colorful diamonds, which eventually became starbursts. I admire her creative talent, but never learned to let procedure start to finish. NICC offered a class to teach us how to do this. I can proudly say that I finished my first quilt from start to finish, thanks to this class. I know my heart that my mother is smiling down at me. I also got the opportunity to work with a lot of wonderful ladies, each with their own individual creativity. We share and learn from each other. That's it.
Okay, here's my girl. I had the opportunity to have a intern. I never knew how much I needed an intern. This girl just took right off. She's not only, she took classes with me before, and she's done a lot more quilts than it's pictured here. And that she went to AHEC with Carlton in the group, and she won that big old trophy. We like to tease her saying that trophy's about tall as she is. Next year, she'll bring one home as tall as her. But yeah, well, I know she spent a lot of time with Tylin, her niece, and Anita. Well, all the girls, they knew that they could count on her whenever they needed help.
Hi, I'm Serena Campbell. I'm currently a student here at NICC, and I'm the intern for this class. One thing I liked about this class, and why I wanted to take it, was to learn how to make stone quilts. How expensive they are, and just that and the cultural significance of the circle itself really interested me, making me want to learn how to make.
Okay, the next girl is Tylin Campbell Miller. She's Shona's daughter, and she's just as intelligent as Shona. And she's kind of, she was shy, so I didn't get very many pictures of her. In fact, I just got the one, and Serena is the one that added the picture of her star quilt. It doesn't really show in the picture, but it was really pretty colors. There were greens, and yeah, it was really really nice. And I want to give her a big old thank you, because she's the one that helped us put this, get this whole presentation together. I could have never done it. And then I wanted to add that in front of Tylin is some blocks or squares that Kutsi made, and she finished that. But I might know I didn't get that picture in there either. And I'll have to try to share that with everybody somehow at a later date. Okay, here we go. Oops.
Hello, my name is Tyler Keller Miller. I'm a enrolled member of the CNT Central Nebraska. It's my first year at NICC. When I first saw this class, I knew it was something I wanted to take. Work has always a passion of mine, so because it wasn't very important to me. I went to this class and some background knowledge, but I knew nothing about it. This class not only showed me how to create this, but also showed me patience and purpose for culture. Not to mention incredible instructional classmates who helped to create a beautiful quilts in the room. Overall,
We're just about done here.
Yeah, that was it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. That's it. Thank you.
Yep.
Adios, amigos.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much. Incredible. It's so incredible to me that, doing star quilts, a lot of folks have, the same pieces, but how we put those colors together and the designs and everything is so unique and different, like all of our students and all of us. So kind of hokey, but it's always really beautiful and special to me. So thank you very much, ladies, for sharing. I see, Patty, you may need to click end screen sharing on there.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
I didn't see that first.
Yeah, let me know if you see that option up there. Awesome.
Thank you.
No, thank you guys. And once again, if any of you have follow-up questions or just anything you would like to ask or give a shout out to, please throw it in the chat. I think our very last presentation we have is from Timothy in Wainima's class. And so Tim, are you on here? Okay. I thought I might have seen him earlier. Go ahead, Wainima.
Oh, Tim, are you there? Just ask. He was really happy to, show off his really beautiful work. But Tim, are you here? Yeah, maybe he does work. Maybe he had to go to work or something, but I didn't see anything in the chat, that said he had to leave, but that's okay. Well, essentially, you'll probably be all happy to know, this was the last presentation, and with no students, I'm just going to say this much and then I will be through. Be careful when an Indian says that. That means they're going to be on here for the next 45 minutes, right? So anyhow, I just wanted to say I'm really, really, really proud of this college and all the work that you as faculty do. What we saw with these students and how impressed I have been, and I hope you've been equally impressed, is what we are teaching them. And of course, what they are learning on their own. And I just, I really, really am so proud of all these presentations for this. And I always have to say this and give credit to Hank. Hank kind of repeated what he showed the very first time we ever did this. And it wasn't called Student Showcase. We were meeting like this, and he said, oh, I have some slides, or I have some presentations that the students did in his, I think it was a NASA class, Hank, at that time. Can't quite remember. It's only been like 4 years ago. But in any event, that was really inspiring. And I thought, well, if Hank can get his students to do that, maybe I can inspire my students to try to do something similar. So we tried, and I think that was sort of the starting of what we now call our student showcase, but it's an awesome idea. But I want to, send out kudos and say congratulations, Frank, for something that Hank, that has really taken hold here at NICC. I really look forward to the end of the semesters to see who's presenting, what they've learned, and it comes from the students themselves. And the thing is, you don't make them. They want to do it. And I think that says something for us here at NICC. So having said that, I apologize for Tim not being here, but let me tell you a little bit about the class and then we're done. But it's native genealogy research. And so when we started out with the class, Christine helped me a lot, sent me a bunch of links to, from here to kingdom come, to help make the class doable and get the students' interest and everything. It was very helpful. So I thank you, Christine. I don't feel like I did this myself, but we got, it was a very small class, 3, and that was it. All of my 2 classes were very small this year. So anyway, we went we had three, but one had tragedy in her household and she never came back. So that left me with two. So as we're going along, I'm talking about student showcase and things, and then not really explaining it. But in any event, they did the research. I like to think I gave them the tools through the links, and they had to do a lot of the research on their own, but we would meet every week, of course, and we'd go through what they did, what they found. We did some video watching, and then turn them loose to do their own research. And they really took to it. They were very curious. One of the things that we did learn is that Native American genealogies are perhaps among the most difficult to try to obtain. There's mistakes. I mean, you got to go back to the census records in the 1880s, and it was sloppy work by the United States, because I don't think the United States was, thinking that they would ever do censuses. But in any event, so they learned that, and so they knew then from pretty much the very beginning that it'd be an uphill battle for them to find their ancestors and how they came about to us being here. And then there's the translation of tribal names. There's misspellings. And so we learned a lot. There are also a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but a handful of Native American genealogists who do this actually for a living. And I can't remember the name of the one that was the best. Of the ones that we watched, one was better than the others. And she's right out. She's from, I think she's from either Standing Rock, or I think she's from maybe Rosebud. She does, and I cannot remember her name, but she does an incredible job. And the students, the two that stayed on with the class, would go back to her time and time again, because she was full of all kinds of tips and whatever else they needed. So we didn't really have a book. The computer and the internet was our textbook. So I also think that they learned a lot of research skills, of course, which is what they were to do. And then, of course, as the learning outcome, they were to present their family trees, and we went to those sites that help build family trees, plug in your information, the photos, a little bit about what they may know about them, and boy, they came out beautifully. I was really, really impressed. Both of them, but only one of them, like Tim, was willing to come and share. So I'm really sorry he's not here, but I'll tell you this. Tim found that he has connections to the Irish, and he was shocked at that. And I think this is why, but that family has a crest, a family crest. And I'm like, he said, Wainema, can you imagine that? I said, my family, when I go back far enough, I've got Irish connections, and that family has an Irish crest. And I said, do you have it here? Can you show it to me? And he said, I can. So he brought it up. Of course, we went, his final, he was to present everything. And we worked ourselves all the way back to the crest. And it's really beautiful. And so we kind of joked around. And I said, this is really fascinating here. I can see you some years, if your sons are interested in dancing in the big arena, I bet you that crest is going to find its way in beadwork. And he laughed. He said, it just might, Wainema. So it was an awesome experience watching them do this, and to work with them, and then to let them work on their own, which of course is what we, that's our goal, is that people can stand on their own at some point. But with this, I really wanted you to see Tim's work. It was absolutely beautiful. He found relatives he didn't know he had. He found that he has a lot of relatives in Santee, and some in, let's see, there's another tribe further north that's also, Yankton. So he said, I didn't know I said, well, now that you do, maybe you can, you're good at this now, find those descendants. So I don't know if he will, or if he just, this is the end of it. He doesn't want to do it anymore ever, but I think that they really enjoyed it. And it would have been such a great closeout to this, but he's not here to show it to you. And so I apologize for that, but that's all I have to say. But it was a real pleasure to be here, to watch the work of all of you faculty and everyone who had anything to do with getting our students here to showcase. Awesome job, NICC. Weave the hum.
Awesome. And I think Wainima said it best. Thank you everyone so much for coming. And I did want to share this screen one last time. If y'all can see the outline here of just all of our student presentations and our awesome instructors and mentors too. So feel free to reach out to them individually if you do have questions. And other than that, Pidamiaye and Wivaha, and have a great summer coming up. I'm sure we'll see you all soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan.